Be mine forever. Be mine
Ever wonder why Elvis Presley, one of the greatest voices in music history, didn't perform live for nearly a decade, right in the middle of his prime? What if I told you that during those very years, his voice was evolving into something even more powerful, emotional, and breathtaking than ever before? Let's dive into a story full of mystery, music, and misunderstood choices. During this video, I want to share a few things I believe the world needs to hear. Truths about Elvis that are often overlooked and areas where I feel he's been deeply underestimated. I won't say it all up front, but by the end, you'll understand why his voice deserves far more recognition than it usually gets. And if at any point you feel that Elvis truly had the most beautiful voice of all time, go ahead and hit that thumbs up now. It really helps this channel reach more Elvis fans around the world. Welcome to Hidden Minds. I'm Renee, and today we're exploring a side of Elvis Presley that many overlook. The transformation of his voice during the years he wasn't touring, and why those years were both a missed opportunity and a period of stunning artistic growth. Elvis exploded onto the scene in the 1950s with raw energy, a rebellious sound, and a voice that broke all the rules. He didn't just sing rock and roll, he redefined it. And that was just one part of what he could do. But from 1960 to 1968, something strange happened. He stopped performing live. Why would someone with that voice, that presence, walk away from the stage? The answer is layered and a little heartbreaking.
We've been together so long to have to separate this way.
After returning from the army in 1960, Elvis's voice matured. It became richer, deeper, more controlled. His range expanded. Listen to tracks like Reconsider Baby or It's Now or Never, and you hear a man who could shift effortlessly between power and tenderness. Albums like Elvis Is Back and Potluck showed his incredible vocal flexibility. He could go from bluesy growls to near operatic high notes without losing control. And the crazy part? He made it sound effortless. But instead of touring, Elvis was stuck in Hollywood making movie after movie. And while some of those films have charm, many fans and critics agree they didn't let Elvis shine the way he could have on stage. Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, prioritized the film deals. They brought in steady money, but it meant Elvis spent some of the best vocal years of his life singing to cameras instead of crowds. Yet, here's the twist. Despite a lack of concerts, the music from his period is some of the best he ever made. Think of songs like Can't Help Falling in Love, Hawaiian Wedding Song, or You're the Devil in Disguise. These aren't just hits, they're masterclasses in vocal control and expression.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Every phase of Elvis's life had a different sound. The 50s were raw and wild. The early 60s were polished and soulful. By the late 60s and 70s, his voice was thunderous, emotional, almost spiritual. No other singer in history has evolved so powerful and clearly as Elvis.
You're looking for trouble? You came to the right place. You're looking for
And then
trouble?
came 1968,
Just look right in my
a
face.
comeback special.
I was born standing up,
In one TV broadcast,
talking back.
Elvis reminded the world, and maybe even himself, of what he was born to do.
If I can
He was back on stage,
of a woman
back in black leather, and back with that voice. From that moment on,
tell me why.
Elvis hit the road again. Las Vegas, tours across America, sold out shows night after night, and yes, his health would decline in the years that followed. But his voice, it stayed. Powerful, majestic, heartbreaking. Listen to his final performances in 1977. Heard My Way, Unchained Melody. Even when he could barely move, his voice could still fill a stadium and bring people to tears. And here's what I believe. It's honestly strange that when most people talk about Elvis, they reduce him to just rock and roll, when that was only a small part of what he truly was. His vocal talent went way beyond that. Calling him the king of rock and roll does him disservice, because his voice and his range across genres were so much more. I want the world to know that. And I'll say it clearly. No one has ever been as versatile as Elvis. And that shows also in his vocals. Elvis has the most beautiful, versatile voice I've ever heard. Period. And it's not just my opinion. Elvis won 3 Grammy Awards, all for his gospel recordings. That says something about quality, purity, and depth of his voice when he sang from the soul. Even the music industry recognized his gospel vocals as his most award-worthy. He didn't just sing songs, he owned them. He made every cover version disappear. When Elvis sang something, it became the definite version. Rock, gospel, soul, country, blues, pop. He did it all with ease, with emotion, with that golden tone that no one else has ever matched. Every note felt like the truth. And here's something else I want to say loud and clear. No one can truly sing like Elvis. People try, and for sure to the casual listener it might sound a bit like Elvis. But for those who really knows his voice, those who understand his depth, it's clear you can't replicate his vocal magic. Some might imitate the tone or put on a voice that resembles him. But Elvis's vocal range, his natural vibrato, which was never exaggerated like in most impersonations. The clarity, the soul, the beauty of his voice, that's something no one can copy. Not even close. So when people reduce Elvis to a few songs or just label him as a rock and roll act, they help keep that narrow image alive. And that's exactly why I want to change that. Because Elvis was so much more. And it's his voice that proves it most of all. So yes, it's a tragedy that we didn't get more live performances during those golden years. But the records he left behind, they tell the story. The story of a voice that evolved, matured, and stunned right until the very end. If this video gave you a new appreciation for Elvis, let me know in the comments. And what's your favorite vocal performances of his? And hey, if you want more stories like this, more deep dives into the voice, the man and the legend, make sure to subscribe to Hidden Minds. Because here, we don't just react, we explore what made Elvis truly one of a kind. And if you believe Elvis has the most beautiful voice of all time, remember, give this video a thumbs up right now. It really helps more people discovering his magic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.